Thank you all for joining us here today. I have the lovely Melissa Winger, a mom, a disability advocate, and the parent of a lovely child that happens to have disabilities. How are you doing today, Melissa?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and empower others. Where did your own healing begin?
So it's a little complex, but so I had a child who um, was born with disabilities, and he was born to me at the age of 18. So I was a very young mother, and he did not get his diagnosis until he was about 4 months old. But when he did, he has was diagnosed with a very rare chromosome disorder that affects every single organ system. So he has quite a bit of needs. He's 29 years old now. And the healing process was a journey. It was survival the majority of his life. And that turned into when he started to get better, the surgery started to be distance apart, that I kind of had PTSD almost from living in a chronic stage of crisis mode. So the healing journey did begin later, um, but I didn't know I was needing to be healed from anything, if that makes any sense.
And it does, because we often don't look at medical trauma and especially the parent of someone with disabilities as a trauma. I was super disabled. They misdiagnosed my EDS as epilepsy as a kid because they were seeing a symptom and left it with the diagnosis. And then I was paralyzed as a teenager. And while my mom took that as her biggest trauma in life, it was like, honey, I was the competing athlete that turned into a half vegetable. This is mine, not yours. Back off. I know it was
Yes.
hard for you to watch, but back off. And I love her that for the fact that she carries it with such passion and intensity. But it's also I recovered 99% because I am a stubborn cow.
I love that. What we call it, what I've heard the term call it, is extreme caregiving.
Yes.
Like extreme caregiving that never ends. There is no, it's every day, it's 24/7. Yeah.
Mhm. And it's because you do it from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
just
you want to
want.
fix it.
Mhm.
Like your poor mother just need, that's her, like probably thought that's her job. I
it
have to
it
fix it. That's my job. Yeah.
exactly. And she
Mm-hmm.
also went in to fix it because she was 19 when she had me. She was a baby. And
And there's almost like you have to prove yourself.
exactly, because everyone is breathing down your neck. And this was the 90s. In the
Mm-hmm.
90s, oh, you were a single mother because you made the father leave, and
Mm-hmm.
now your child's disabled. I mean, she has a master's degree now. She's well
Wow.
educated. She encouraged me to pursue my training, even though I did it alternatively.
Mm-hmm.
But there is this huge weight that comes with everyone surrounded by the person with the disability.
Mm-hmm.
And I can speak to that as the disabled one. It's like, oh no, I know that that hurt everyone around me, even though it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't my fault.
Right. Right. And it's just this nature of I have to do something.
Mhm.
I have to fix it. I have to help. I have to, or I'm somehow inadequate or a bad mom, something like that, right?
Right? And
You take it on.
even if your child isn't disabled, as a mother, every day you're just trying to make things better for your kids. And you
Mm-hmm.
even often forget about your own needs because it's how can I make their life better? I'll deal with this when they're in college.
Yep. That's what happens. And I didn't take care of myself, and that was a problem. But I also didn't care at the time. Like I was keep my son alive. That was my job. So I took on, and I think this happens for a lot of people, I didn't know that I was mentally stressed. My body started to kind of deteriorate at a young age. I got a stress-induced heart arrhythmia, ended up with a pacemaker. My body reacted to stress before my mind did, which I think happens to a lot of people.
The psychosomatic effects
Yeah.
compound way faster than we think that they do.
Hmm. Yep. I was very shocked with that. I was like, what is happening? Now I have something and I'm thinking it's genetic. And then they're like, no, no, you kind of brought it on yourself almost, to be
Yeah,
blunt. Yeah.
right. And it's really harsh because it's also not
Hmm.
meant with harm, but a lot of this shit literally is in our heads. And
Yes.
but it affects our entire systems in
Hmm.
every way. And that's why, yes, that's where it lies,
Hmm.
but we still need to deal with it.
Yeah. It's an incredible amount of um how powerful the brain is that you can't even quite believe it. You're like, no, no. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, how powerful is the brain right now that it can literally change all your physical, your physical well-being.
It exactly. And it
Exactly.
can you can go
Hmm.
from completely okay in that hyper vigilant, overactive
Hmm.
state for decades
Hmm.
to one day
Yeah.
you're in so much pain you can't roll out of bed.
No. And you think that you have contracted some malaria of some kind or some important disease, and it's just like, no, no, it's your mind does that.
It,
It's
it's
so unbelievable.
exactly. And and it's also like incredible, but in the worst way imaginable.
Hmm. Exactly.
Like like I only overcame the paralysis because in grade 6, my special interest was neuroplasticity.
Wow.
So in grade 11, when I was paralyzed, I went, I already know as much as I can about this.
I
That
know. And
that
it's
they told me I'd never walk again, and
mhm,
I gave them the middle finger and told
good for you.
them, you're not gonna tell me what I can and what I can't do.
Yeah. And I talk about, so I kind of wrote a book about being a mom of a disabled child and our patient experience since the day he was born to 29. And I talk about that, the whole nevers that doctors give you. He'll never do this, he'll never do that. And I just hate that. They told me my son would never hold his own head up. And from that day on, I just propped him up with pillows.
Yeah,
I never expected him to hold his head up because one person said he would never do it. It's just a shame that we do that.
right. And
We take away all
especially
hope.
in the 90s to now, we're still
Mhm.
doing that crap.
Yes.
It's like, honey,
Yes.
nothing is impossible.
No, we still do it too.
Exactly. I never walk again. And that there was a long list of things that they would encourage me not to do, but
Wow.
ultimately I've done most of them because of my fuck you attitude.
Good for you.
But
That's what
it
it
doesn't
takes.
take away from the trauma. Our medical system is traumatizing people that are
Mhm.
just trying to get help and trying
Yep.
to live their life in a way that no matter the disability, the ailment, etc.,
Mhm.
they're trying to have a quality of life.
Yeah.
Why don't instead we look at their symptoms and we try and help them until we can actually find a viable solution instead of just slapping a sticker on it? No,
Hmm.
you have this. Well,
Yep.
then why are none of the treatments working if I have that?
Hmm. It's like they don't realize there's a gray area.
Yeah,
They see black
and
and white, and what if you don't fit in black and white areas, right?
exactly,
Which most of us don't, right?
right? Like, and that's also the quirk. It's like, no, we're all special. And
Mhm.
unless you're also willing to look at the human body through the generational and heritage lenses of, well, crap, where's your family from? Is this something from that's super popular in your lineage in your ancestors' home country in the last 400 years, and something that's maybe not popular in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And even
being
not to go further off, but the fact that the older generation didn't talk about it.
exactly
Like my grandma had something called nerve pills. That's what she called it. It's like we didn't talk about it. She just said, I need a nerve pill. Who knows what
right,
that is?
right? And it's like, oh, I would love to give my grandma an Ativan every day.
They just didn't talk like they didn't talk about because it was like a shameful thing, or they just didn't talk about it. Like,
Yeah. And
yeah,
and
we got to get
even
better.
the compounding of that is
Mm-hmm.
because even Gen X and older millennials are still broken, everybody.
Careful, I'm Gen X.
I was leaning older
I'm
millennial
definitely broken.
actually, so but you're not unfixable.
You
You've just
This is
been
gonna
through a
happen later
lot
in life.
and
Yes, I'm overcoming that.
well, exactly. And you're getting there. Like that glimmer in your eye, that smile. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've already accepted that part of you still hurts, but it doesn't seem like you're holding it
Mm-hmm.
like it's your Bible.
No. And I think honestly, I at some point it clicked, and not too long ago, it clicked that this is our purpose. And like all the stuff that my son went through and continues to go through, I focus on my advocacy on the medical system, but I'm like, what my son went through, whether it's a patient safety, like a medication error, no one going forward is going to face that again. Like, I'm going to fix it. I don't know how, fix it. And that's why I wrote the book, right? So it's like, I can't let that happen. So I discovered there's a purpose behind all of this. And that really, that giving me purpose changed a lot for me. It really did.
Right?
Like we have a mission, to me and my
And we
son, like
do.
we have
And
a
we
mission.
all have to just find it
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
hopefully we can skip the survivor's complex because that's not great either. But
Yeah.
turning our own pain into why we choose to be here and help others. I'm sorry that
Mm-hmm.
there's no shame in dedicating a life to helping as many people as you can. That's
Yeah.
that's how you change the world,
Mm-hmm. Which we have to do. Yeah. And I
oh,
didn't realize that for a long time, but I'm like, okay, we're gonna fix the US healthcare system. Just me, just one person.
right?
No big deal.
Like I mean, I
But yeah,
wish I wasn't such a fitness junkie even after my paralysis, because then maybe I would be able to just use my boobs. I can't. I mean, they're
that's
good
the best thing
boobs.
I've
They're
ever heard.
but cupcakes, not bunt cakes.
We don't even know what the trend is now. Are we going big? Are we going, what's in?
I don't
I have
know.
to
I
look
I,
that.
I think if they're
It
there,
changes.
we're happy,
I'm just going for, if I can look down, okay, we're doing good.
right? Oh, they're still there today. Good.
Yay.
They don't touch my knees yet.
I can't tuck them into my jeans. Success.
But exactly, it's finding the little things in life, no matter what society has fed you, especially
Exactly.
as the mother of a child with a disability.
Yeah.
Like as someone with a disability, I can only imagine the flack that you got as a parent from everyone in your life.
Sadly, I don't talk to many people in my family anymore. And this was awful. I mean, I have a sister I'm very close to, but some people in my family really got on the burden of on society. What's the tax dollars paying for this next surgery for my son? It was awful. Like knowing and saying, well, he'll never get a job. He'll never be kind of beyond a 2 or 3 year old developmental. So he'll never be able to pay back. He'll never be able to pay taxes. What are we spending on this? With my own family members. And so it took a while because I really wanted to be close to my family. But after I'm like, you don't accept my son, then I'm sorry, I gotta back away
right?
from my own.
And there's no shame in that.
No.
Because if family can't lovingly and
Hmm.
supportingly contribute to your life, then frankly they shouldn't be in it.
Mm-mm.
And even
Create your
me,
own family.
I am a great believer in your friends are the family you choose.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had friends that have loved me since I was 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and people that were even support workers in school systems that knew that my life was more screwed up than I ever let on, that always said, don't ever drop me as a contact. I will always be here.
Hmm.
And now I graduated high school almost a decade ago, and those
Wow.
people are still rah-rahing all three of my
Good.
books my entire life. They know that now I could
Mhm.
go and actually run races again. If I had not lost my sight, I would be training in martial arts and competing again.
Wow.
But when they paralyzed me, I was essentially center cut in my visual field, and therefore
Mm.
another gift.
Yeah.
And man, I was angry because I was old enough that if I wasn't epileptic, I could drive a car.
Mhm.
But then I realized now I can turn my head 10 to 15 degrees and I can pretend to not see anyone I don't want to see in public.
Mhm.
That is a gift.
Silver lining.
And
But just
then,
think of the resilience. Like most people would, who knows, just lay in a bed and give up.
well,
But
and
you
that was
get up
the
every day.
option. It
Yeah.
would it was lay down and be bedridden or stuck in a wheelchair, or it was fight like hell and see if
Mhm.
I can beat this. And
Mhm.
believe me, I still have bad days, but my good days are more functional than before I was paralyzed.
Mhm. Right.
You
I
know,
mean,
you can
resilience, right?
be anything you want in this life.
Hmm.
One point, I was a vegetable, and now I'm a fully cooked woman.
Not overcooked. Just
Not yet. We'll see how the sun
aiming
does
to
this year.
perfection. Okay.
See if I can get a few more wisdom lines in the forehead.
But just even hearing stories like that, it just makes you feel good. Like we can get up tomorrow and no matter what we're facing. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not about next week, next
Mm-mm.
month, next year.
No.
It's what can I do today to make my life even 1% better?
Hmm.
One.
Yep.
Was that replacing maybe a bag of chips with an
Hmm.
orange? Was that maybe going for a walk around the block?
Hmm.
Or whatever that might be for you. Like maybe
Yep.
you really like to cook and taking time in your week to actually meal plan and make sure that you're
Hmm.
prepared for the week ahead so that even when everything else is in shambles, you can come home and make dinner in your happy place.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. And that just what I've learned about my son and just to describe him. So if you think of him as so he's 29, developmentally about 2 or 3, has severe autism, so he's not only talks maybe 10, 15 words. But and he is in chronic pain from ADS, actually. He is in liver failure. He has giant brain aneurysms, lung problems, heart problems, um, brittle bones. He has a bleeding disorder. This kid has so much stuff going on. And he wakes up and he lives in a group home now. And this kid, he wakes up every day and he probably does about 4 or 5 outfit changes. He wears a costume. So he'll just stroll downstairs because it's a group home, regular home, and he'll just be a clown and just stroll upstairs. Or he'll wear a full suit and tie to lunch with a pocket square and makes everyone smile. It is hilarious. He is so
But
funny and he
but that's
so
his
much loves
gift.
life. Mhm.
That is his gift. It's that no matter what life has given me,
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to make other people smile because
Hmm.
I'm not less of a person. And that's what he's doing.
Yep.
Is that no, I'm okay with my circumstances even though they
Hmm.
suck
Yep. And I always
because
think he's the kid. He's somebody that everyone around him knows how many conditions he has and how frail his life is, except him. Like he'll get up and pretend to do exercises because he's watching Elmo do exercises with a blood pressure of 90 over 40. It's a ghost. But he's like, we got to do what Elmo does. It's just that simple.
right? But that's perfect.
Yeah, he
Because
loves it.
he has quality of life even though all that crap is
Incredible.
going on,
Hmm.
therefore proving your family wrong. Because especially in indigenous culture, it's not
Yeah.
about what you do in this life. It's about who you are.
Hmm.
You're a human being, not a human doing. And most
Hmm.
of us need to unlearn this, myself
Hmm.
included. I do more than I should on many, many occasions, but I do it because I love it.
Yeah.
I've dedicated my life to helping other people overcome their trauma,
Hmm.
and because there's a path forward for everybody. You don't have to live with the pain forever. I want you to, at least on the inside, be doing cartwheels eventually.
Hmm.
At a
Feel good.
certain point, that's not so great on the joints, but
Yeah.
that level of joy is what I strive for with everyone I meet.
Hmm.
Like, I am known as a total clown, which you might have already figured out because I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. It wasn't just medical stuff, it was everything else too.
Hmm.
And I choose to make people laugh, even if the jokes are not politically correct,
Thank you for that.
because
I agree.
laughter is medicine. And
Hmm.
every tribe in the world believed that before you had to be right and hoity-toity about everything.
Yeah.
And we all come from tribal cultures. You just have to go back far enough.
Yeah. There was one, so and this was, I went to a spiritual healer who changed my life, and I didn't even believe in the concept of it. But it literally, in one session, she just said like maybe five things that completely lifted the weight off my shoulders. It was incredible. I was dealing with substantial guilt over putting my child in a group home at 22. And the reason why I was feeling the guilt is because I, um, if you don't already know, you will know in the future that our long term care system is horrible.
Mhm, mhm.
The amount of neglect and abuse that that is there, it just is horrible. So having this tremendous amount of guilt, never been able to shake it. And said, she said, stop it, stop. This part, your son is not attached to you. He has his own journey. He has his own soul contract, I think she referred to it.
Mhm,
He has his own path.
mhm.
He can't fulfill his life's work or his mission if he's attached to you in your house. He has to live his own life. I don't care how disabled he is, how much help he needs. I don't, he has a feeding tube, all this stuff. And
Mhm.
she said, doesn't matter. He can have people that will, people are going to be hired to care for that and we'll figure that out. But he has to live his own life. I was like, I mean, it blew me away. And I just immediately felt, okay, wow. I never thought, how sad is that? I never thought, because my son is so dependent on help, that he could have his own life. Like that was just,
Yeah,
what?
well,
No,
exactly.
I have to take care of him 24/7. Are you kidding? That's my job. But she's like, no, it ain't. No, it's not. It was just so, whether it was the confidence in her voice, I don't know what it was, but she just said, stop it.
Well, then it was
He has
likely
his
the
own life.
conviction
Oh, yeah.
in that no, she was speaking it from a place of knowing.
Yeah.
Like I was in a subconscious meditation technique with a client this weekend,
Hmm.
and randomly I just felt this gut-wrenching. remind this person that they're safe, they're
Mhm.
loved, and that it's okay if they're finally ready to let go of the pain of the past and make room for the future.
Mhm.
When I pulled him out of the technique afterwards, he went, when you whispered that to me, I felt like I was wrapped in this safe orange bubble, and I felt all this shit left leave my body. And it was just, no, this is through me, not of me. But apparently you need to hear it right now.
Is that not that you can just say a few words and change someone's entire outlook or feeling or it's
Right?
incredible.
And using those techniques, they're already
Yeah.
insanely powerful.
Hmm.
But that in itself, he messaged me today. I'm hopeful again, were his
Wow.
words. And then again, I cried because I see that
Yeah.
young adult like one of my own kids. And it's like, no,
Hmm.
no, when I see you reclaiming your future and letting go of the past and actually being excited to
Hmm.
build your life when you're only in your early 20s, it makes me cry as the person you refer to as mom.
It
And
just,
also, like, I'm so
right.
glad that they didn't come out of me because at
Hmm.
7, I don't know if it ever would have bounced back.
Yeah. True,
That's
right?
that's that's too many kids to come out of that.
Oh, it's
But
just incredible that because I went to therapy. Like, I don't think I ever was connected like with the right person. And so I gave up. Yeah, just took this one person
right,
to
and
just be
and
like, shut up, stop it.
yeah,
Your son is like detach the umbilical cord. He's 22. Like,
exactly. Come on, remove the
oh wait,
nipple.
what? Really? But I had this mindset that he can't survive without me. He can't.
Yes, yes, but
And
that's
that's on me if
also
something happens to him. Yeah.
ingrained in you
Hmm.
through our failing medical systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it actually caused, I'm going to refer to it as a codependency, in
Hmm.
that you needed him and he needed you, and you didn't realize, hey, other people can support him and I can love him
Hmm.
more without having to help him with all the things.
Hmm. And then what was even more eye opening is this child of mine who I thought was attached to me and couldn't live without me. Finally found him a group home. It took many years. He was on many waiting lists. Um, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to sedate him to get him to this group home because he's never been without me. And this is just the only time he's been without me is like school, right? I'm like, it's not going to go well. This is going to be horrible. And this child like helped me pack his room. I was like, I don't know what he thinks. I don't know where he thinks we're going. I'm like, okay. We got to this group home and he had seen it a couple of times, spending a little time there. He goes and he starts putting his sheet on the bed and putting everything in. And then I'm like, well, I'm staying for at least 3, 4, 5, or 6 hours at least just to get him acclimated. And my son gave me my purse, waved by. And then I decided, okay, I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm going to wait in the driveway. And he's looking out his window to make sure my car's gone. And he's waving at me like, no, I see your car, mom. No,
Yeah, I love
gosh,
you, but get out of my driveway, woman.
he did. He's like, here's your purse. Thanks for visiting.
Yeah, okay, thanks, bye.
I was, and I, of course, I came back, like every day. And he just was like, what? Like, why? Why are you here? This is like, he almost went to college. Like, this is his dorm almost. Like, these are my guys. Get out.
Mom, I'm with my bros. Go away.
I'm like, no, you need me. I'm just going to wait in the living room.
Oh, see, my mother, I was a rough teen.
Hmm.
I mean, I was dealing with a lot. But when I decided to do college in the next province over, I'm like,
Mm.
no, no, I'm done. I'm not coming back for a while. Bring my stuff out. This is where I'm living. Drop it off. Love you, bye.
Mhm.
And she was so surprised. I was like, no, no, I'm good. But then she went and lived it up because she finally detached from, okay, my child still has limited use of their entire left hand and is still limping and using a brace and is still legally blind, but is out in the world working and going to school. I mean, I was also drinking and partying a lot, and I was escorting and doming at the time. But it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what you do when you're young and
What you do.
traumatized.
Absolutely. You got to experience life.
Well, exactly. And I can proudly say I've done it all.
There you go. You didn't miss anything.
Well, I mean, I missed what I wasn't willing to try, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But it's finding your place in the world, and it
Yeah.
seems like you're finding your light,
Mhm.
that you are more than a caretaking mom.
Yeah. It took a long time.
Yeah.
And there's things that I wish I could tell myself back in the beginning. That like just taking pictures of my son. I didn't take pictures of him. I don't have very many when he was growing up because I didn't want pictures of hospitals, tubes everywhere. And I didn't take pictures. Why didn't I take pictures? That was him. That's what he was going through. But I was like, oh no. Every other mom has these kids, Pro X or whatever. You got
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
little cute little thing in a bathtub. Like I didn't have that. So I figured, no pictures. I kicked myself for that. Like, why? Didn't I just that was his life. Um, and I also didn't take him anywhere. I was almost afraid of judgment of me bringing him in a stroller or wheelchair with feeding pumps and all this
Hmm.
stuff. I just was like, no, I'll keep him in a bubble. Why didn't I take him to the zoo, to the fair? I didn't take him anywhere. It's like I wish I could go back and go, it doesn't matter if people are staring. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And the person that absolutely did not care is my son. He
Yeah,
could
no,
care
he
less,
he
even.
he doesn't give a
No,
shit. Not with
no,
the I'm an
no.
entertainer and I put
Mm-hmm.
on a persona every day. No, he
Yeah, I
he
get
would have
these
just been in heaven.
I get these messages that from they take them out when they run errands. And the funniest message I got was, I don't know that this was appropriate or not, but my son has a sheriff's costume from like Reno 911. And that's what he decided to wear to the bank. She goes, we just went to the bank. He had fun. I was like, oh no. She's like, I think it was okay. I think people knew he wasn't a real cop. I was like, oh dear. Because he doesn't care. He never has. So why did I care?
Right? But
Yeah.
but you were bearing that burden so he didn't have
Mm-hmm.
to.
Yeah.
And because you carried it with all of your might,
Mm-hmm.
he has no perception of it. And that, while traumatic to you, was a gift to
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's but it was like there's so many things I could go back and tell, like especially people that have kids now with disabilities. It's like enjoy your kid. I forgot to enjoy my kid. I was keeping him alive. That was my focus, and I didn't get to enjoy him. Yeah,
But you get to enjoy him now.
I do. The little Reno 911 sheriff at the local Bank of America.
That is awesome. I would enjoy the hell out of your child.
And that's what people said. They said he's memorable and he
Yeah,
needs to be out because he needs to inspire people and make people happy. That's what he does.
yeah. I mean, even when I was
Mm-hmm.
paralyzed in high school, they did a chocolate bar awards at my school
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the year. Every year I got Laffy Taffy because they were like, even no matter how inappropriate it is, you will say something funny to cut any tension in any room. I'm like,
See?
yes,
Yes.
this is a gift. It's also a gift in healing
Yeah.
because we're not joking about the trauma. but we are joking about how we feel about it. It's like, really?
Yep.
Really, could we remove the poles from our own asses and feel less uptight about our own feelings today,
Hmm.
please?
Yeah. And how much comes from like outside society? All the things like I don't want my son to be laughed at. I don't want to be stared at. But then I realized he wants people to laugh at him because he's trying to be funny.
Yeah,
Like they're not
exactly.
laughing at his disability.
No,
They're laughing because he's wearing short shorts.
yeah, exactly. Because he's putting on a show because he loves to see people laugh.
Yes, he does.
But that's the gift.
I know.
And
Yeah.
and you will continue to heal and let it go
Hmm.
and no longer judge yourself for dealing with it the best way you knew how.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't your own perceptions that did that, it was the
Hmm.
internalized voices of other people.
Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, like
It's like, why do we care so much?
whenever I have a really hateful thought about myself, it actually comes from my grandmother. And I'm
See?
like, oh no, I even remember the first day she said that to me, but I took it as if it was law.
Hmm.
And just like, no, I'm good at these
No.
things. I'm smart, I'm talented,
Hmm.
I have over a decade of training,
Hmm.
I'm pretty cute on a good day.
Yes, you
Like
are. Yes.
I'm energetic. Like what is there to bitch? Sure, my life isn't perfect. I don't have millions and millions of dollars. But
What we're
if I
doing with what
did,
we got.
I would be building a resort to open a holistic resort that would be the combination of a rehab center and a
Mhm.
five-star resort. That's the
I
goal
feel like you're
one
going to
day.
do it. You don't have to win the lottery. You can do it.
I will do
You're
it.
going to do it. You're going to do it. Just say that.
I
I'm going to do
I am going to do it.
it. You should
Because
listen to me.
exactly. See, you
No,
carry
you
that
are like
wisdom.
that lady said.
I know.
You're going to do it.
I'm gonna do it. Me and the business partner already have plans.
And that's so, and you know, because you've written books, it's like it took me 4 years to write my book. I kept putting it down. I was like, I'll get back to it. It's like you just got to keep picking it up. Feel like I can do it. It's not too much work. I can do it.
Oh, exactly.
Hmm.
I wrote my first book like a maniac. And I mean,
Good for
I
you.
drafted what was originally, I think, 47,000 words in 30 days of writing.
Wow.
And I told the first 3 years of my paralysis recovery from 16
Hmm.
to almost 20.
How'd that feel? Was it just to get it on paper?
It was scary. It was really
Yeah.
scary. I adopted a pen name because I was afraid of sharing my story with the
Hmm.
world. And then 2 years ago, I wrote the sequel, which talks about it's really a feminist manifesto. It's my story, but it's the
Hmm.
narrative of a kid that experiences sexual abuse and ends up in sex work as a teen and addiction.
Um,
But then where the narrative changed and it became mine, I started having these nightmares where I knew I needed to get sober. It was like, no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh my God, I'm
mhm.
gonna die. I need to stop. And
That's
luckily,
scary.
and I say luckily, it was just alcohol. But ultimately, I've been following a harm reduction sobriety model for 7.5 years.
Hmm.
And this past year, I wrote the second bestseller, which is Becoming Blissful, the Bliss Method Recovery Workbook, where I don't just explain the healing process.
Hmm.
And I also dive into all the different emotions you're going to experience, both the version of yourself before the trauma, during the trauma, and after, and how you're going to cycle through all the stages of grief. And oh, you're going to be angry. And you're not just at yourself, but the world. There will be times where you want to set the entire world on fire. Please don't. We have enough natural wildfires right now. We don't need more.
Exactly.
Um, but then at the end, after diving into the full methodology and an actual in-depth description of the healing through traditional and modern lenses,
Mhm,
I give guided meditation exercises and prompts with journaling pages so that if someone is not ready to speak it out loud, they
mhm,
can begin the work on their own. It's like, no, start there, call me later,
mhm,
or call someone else. I am very high energy. That can be a
mhm.
lot for anyone that's introverted.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, right?
Like, I am a giggly ball of sunshine.
Yeah. Mhm.
And like, even back in high school before I was paralyzed, they went, no, you are so joyful. Like, rainbows and sunshine must shoot out your ass.
But you had the perfect, I have to just say this, you have the perfect combination because you are like funny and bubbly, but yet you have this very calming voice. It's just this perfect combination.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
do.
probably got it from my father.
It's just perfect.
My
It's just
mother
like
was a little
calming.
unhinged.
Yeah.
Love her and bless her
You have
heart, but
combined those things just perfectly.
unhinged from the traumatized and
Yeah.
indigenous to the Afro-Italian of my father. It's like, no, in the summer I look real pretty,
Mhm.
and then in the winter everyone thinks I'm Caucasian.
It's so
I'm
cute.
like, sorry, Karen, I'm not one of you. I was just a bitch today. Leave me
Mhm.
alone.
Mhm. Yeah. So like you have this perfect voice that you could like literally do a meditation track with,
And I
but
do.
then just have these oh,
I and
perfect.
people love my guided meditations and even my clients. I all of my programs come with reach out support as you need it between sessions
Mhm.
because when they say, "Hey, I forgot the technique you just taught me and I'm struggling with like my anxiety or
Mhm.
I had a panic attack. Can you guide me through it?" I will send them a voice note. "Hey honey, this is the technique," and just walk them through it in full voice note in a memo because nowadays from our phones we can save them and download
Mhm.
them and keep them forever,
Yes. No longer the 90s.
right? And also it's a fantastic voice to get really offended when you're told off by it because it sounds that much worse coming from someone this peaceful.
You take it a lot more seriously. Good. Like this calming voice from above. It
Right?
just hits you.
Right?
I love
Or
it.
or
I
the
love it.
inappropriateness of my business partner. And I have probably hundreds of inappropriate nicknames for this woman. The other day I phoned her and what blurted out of my mouth when she went, "Hi, honey," and I went, "Hey, titty sugar." And I'm like, really? Really? That's what I'm choosing right now?
But it sounds beautiful in your voice.
Well, and she went, "Oh, are you flirting with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like women, but I don't like you, babe."
Yeah. It just sounded beautiful.
And
Oh,
people see like the humor. And lots of people meet me because of this voice,
mhm,
and because I can be so deadpan with my humor, they often think when I say something outlandish that I'm serious, until they realize, no, Reese is a clown in disguise. Even in healing, when
mhm,
I say I did a thing that was harmful to myself, at first I'm gonna get a look, and then Reese is gonna go,
mhm.
"Really, fucker? Did you have to do the thing? Could you not
Yeah,
have called me or used your tools instead of being self-destructive?"
yeah.
And they go, I know you're giving me shit right now, but it sounds so nice."
And it does, yeah. It sounds
But
like
it comes from a
professional
loving
advice.
place. And it's like, no, it's all from the heart. And, the background in working with high-risk youth paired with the teachings of holistics and indigenous medicine.
Hmm.
because we need to bring everything together if we're going to pave a way forward.
Yeah.
It's not one way or the other. It's a little bit of everything peppered in.
Hmm. And that's why I think, what you're doing is perfect because it's some people are very intimidated to start any kind of a healing or a program because it sounds so serious and so like almost sad, and it's like it isn't. It shouldn't be. And that's why I love it because it's intimidating for me too. Like, no, because I'm a funny person. I love humor. That makes me happy. And so
Yeah.
when I'm doing something that's so serious, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna back out of here. I need some humor.
Well, and we all do. Laughter is
Right.
medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How can our listeners find your book, darling?
Oh, it is on Barnes and Noble, and it's called Who Cares? The Real Patient Experience.
I will also have
And
links in the description for all of you to go and read all about it because Melissa is not just a gem. She knows what she's fucking talking about.
thank you.
And thank you so
Oh,
much
I
for
just love
joining
you.
me here today.
My pleasure. So fun.